And welcome back to my channel. We are back and I'm hitting you guys with a very easy, like super easy Valentine's Day makeup tutorial. If you want something a little bit more like extra, I did make one last year. I will link that video somewhere on here so you guys can go check that out if you want like a little bit more steps, a little bit more glam. But this is just like really easy, simple. Since I'm getting back into the makeup tutorial game, I didn't want to like overly do myself because half the time I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. I'm gonna be honest. So if you guys want to know how I did this like really easy like pinky purple type of bronzy glowy type look, then just keep watching. The very first thing we're gonna do is apply the Fresh Sugar Lip Caramel Hydrating Balm because if you want your lips to smell good for your boo, this is definitely like, oh, it smells so good, guys. I think everybody needs this in their life. Since it is VDAY and we want to just really prep the skin, guys, just make it all nice, and I want to do just everything full blown out, we're gonna use the Refining Toner Lotion by Elizabeth Arden. And we're just gonna use a cotton little swab to just pretty much take any excess makeup off from the night before, or you know, it's just to make ourselves feel good. Kind of like pampering. And while we wait for that toner to dry, because I honestly think I put a lot on, I'm going to use the Origins Ginseng Refreshing Eye Cream. Honestly, I'm using a lot of new products in this video, and you know, just a little self-promo. If you want to know exactly what everything does, just go on and go to my beauty haul that I just posted because it's freaking bomb and a lot of the products are in there. This eye cream is just going to depuff and really energize our eyelids. Going in with the Caudalie Vinyl Perfect Serum, we're just gonna quickly keep prepping the skin because it's V-Day. And if you don't have a boo, okay, I always feel like putting serums and everything like that just makes it like a pamper day. So make Valentine's Day a pamper day, you know? And after the primer, we're gonna go in with the Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. And this, honestly, if you don't like wearing face makeup, this alone will do just the trick. It just makes your face look so dewy and glowy. And I can't even really describe it to you, but that's kind of the look that I'm going for in this tutorial, is just a really nice, fresh skin. And to start priming the lids, I'm going to use the Anastasia Waterproof Cream Color in the color Honey. I like this better than the MAC Paint Pot just because it doesn't dry out my eyes as much and I find it to be a little bit more creamy. As you can tell, I started to apply the primer and with a dirty brush, so some of that green shadow that was already on my brush applied to my lid. So make sure your brushes are clean. But I just love this base because it doesn't dry out my eyes. Like I said, I don't know why the paint pot dries out my eyes so much, but this one just has like such a nice application, and I'm not using that much of it. I'm using just a little bit, as you can see, just enough to kind of even out the skin tone of my eyelid. So I have 3 palettes here that I think are going to be perfect for any Valentine's Day look. So if you have any 3 of these, that's great. If you just have pink eyeshadow or like a nice brown shimmer, that will work too as a combination. You don't need these exact same shades. But at first is going to be the Modern Renaissance. This is probably the go-to Valentine's Day palette just because it's so pretty. Like, I can't even describe it. It has like enough pink shades but enough brown shades to kind of tone it down, so you're not, if you don't want to go full-blown editorial pink. And then the Huda Beauty Mauve Obsessions is actually what I'm gonna be basing this video off of. It's actually a look I wore kind of like the other day, and it's just the perfect little palette. Like, look at all the colors. It has the purples, the pinks, the shimmers, and everything. It has your transitions. I just think it's so cute and it's compact. Plus it has a mirror, which is a plus. And if you don't have enough good shimmers, the ColourPop Golden State of Mind, it honestly has like some of the prettiest little pinks in it, like all the way down from this berry one if you want to go dark, to this really pretty like pinky champagne, to a little bit more of a like mauve if you want to go mauve pink, if that makes sense. There's just so many good shades to choose from this one, and it's like such a low price for like all these pretty shimmers. So going in with that berry shade with just a regular fluffy brush, this is a Beach Cosmetics. Honestly, the number wore off, but it came in a set, but any like really fluffy brush will work for this. I'm gonna start to just lightly lay that over my crease. Then going in with the Bella NG331 brush, but any like really kind of stiff but fluffy brush will work for this. I'm gonna go in with the darkest, deepest burgundy color in that palette, and I'm gonna go a little bit lower than my crease, so we have like a little bit of a dimension going on and it's not just all one color on the lid, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And going back in with the BH Cosmetics fluffy brush, I'm just gonna be kind of blending everything together and almost winging it out, but not quite. Then picking up that creamy white shade, I'm gonna use that same fluffy brush and kind of go over the top to kind of tone down how dark it looks. And almost going over the shadow and like creating a lighter color. Going in with that same brush that we used to lay the like primer type thing on our eyes, I'm gonna go in with that pinky type shade that has the little bit of shimmer, and I'm not wetting it with Fix Plus or anything. I'm kind of just filling in the gaps a little bit just so we can start using that as our base. And to start creating a little bit more dimension, I'm actually gonna take my finger, and I'm gonna apply that champagne color right on top, just patting it. And going in with that pink, the lighter pink one, I'm gonna start to apply that top as well. Then going in with the fluffy brush, I'm gonna kind of start to bring it up. And yes, I am bringing the shimmer up and everything, because I kind of, the more I'm doing it, I kind of want it to be more of a glossy type of look. Like very shimmery and girly. Going in with the Fenty Beauty in Pro Filter 210. Honestly, this has been my favorite way to apply the foundation lately, so I just sprinkle a little bit like this and a little bit like that. And if you are wondering what I'm talking about, it is because of this brush. So I actually talked about this brush in my haul. I'll link that video below. It's the one I was talking about earlier, and it is seriously the best brush to apply foundation with. Like, I swear to God, I don't know what I was missing out on, because every time I did my beauty blender, it took me way too long. It was eating up the product. I don't know why it took me this long to try a like brush like this. I forgot what brand was it. Artistry? What was it? I honestly forgot the whole brand that started it all, but it is the fastest way to apply foundation, at least for me. And it just blends everything so seamlessly. Again, I'm talking, I feel like I would have been done by now if I did this by myself, like without the camera recording or me explaining it, but it is seriously so bomb. Like, I don't even know what kind of voodoo magic is in this, but dang. And I like to go like this first because blending is very important, and my foundation is pretty close to my skin tone, so I never have to worry about like really bringing it down my neck. But once everything is pretty much blended in, that's when I'll go down and go like this a little bit, just to buff it out. Like, I don't really like to bring the foundation that low. I just like to do it enough to where it kind of, this is gonna sound weird, but like ombres into my neck, so it kind of seamlessly changes color, because again, it's not that big of a difference from my neck to my face. so that's why I do it this way. Honestly, this is the way I've always blended my foundation to my neck though. I never really go all the way down. That just makes me feel uncomfortable, and to be honest, gross. Like when people say blending your foundation down to your neck, I get that if you have a foundation that definitely doesn't match or anything like that, but that's just uncomfortable. Like I don't know about you, but I don't want to be blending my foundation to my neck just to have it get all over my clothes. You know what I'm saying? Then going in with the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the color Sand. All I'm saying is I went to Target today because I am running so low on this concealer, and they did not have the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Literally every single shade was sold out, but yet they had every single other Maybelline product except this. Who is buying out the Fit Me Concealers at the Target in Folsom? Please tell me. Because you guys wiped out the whole place. There was literally not a single fucking one except one. Actually, there was one shade and it was on clearance, and that was it. They were gone. Like, I don't know what was going on, but they had everything else in stock except that concealer. So I'm pretty pissed because that's the reason why I went to Target in the first place. And of course, as we all know, you go into Target thinking you need one thing, you come out with a million other things, because that's just the way life goes when you go into Target. Okay. And when I set my nose, I like to leave this long line and let it completely dry, just because right here I have a scar and it will completely, it's like impossible to cover. It just absolutely impossible unless it's like crusty dry. So that's why I do that, and we're gonna leave. We're not even gonna let the concealer even dry or anything like that, because we want it to be moist and dewy and glowy. So we're gonna go in and start to blend it in. That's when I use the beauty blender, and I applied it just a little bit more on the top just to let it dry a little bit more. So we're gonna use this RCMA powder. So cheap. I think it's like $10. I've talked about this before. It's literally the best thing to set underneath my eyes. I have never creased using this, and it works exactly like the Laura Mercier translucent powder. Well, probably not exactly the same. This one, it has a little bit more of a white finish to it, so if you don't really wipe it away, you're gonna have like that weird white undercast, unless you like that. But yeah, I'm just gonna take a damp beauty blender and we are going to apply that underneath the eyes to make sure we're not creasing or anything like that. And then when you go like this and like get into your lines, it kind of like prevents the lines. The lines are still there. If you're someone that creases really bad right here and right here, like how I do, it prevents the lines a little bit, but not as much. I learned that trick from Carly Bible. While we wait for the little powder to set in, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing my brows. I'm using the Brows Things by Benefit in the color Dark. Literally the only thing I've used for years since my junior year in high school. That was like 5-6 years ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this shade right here. I'm actually gonna skip the gel part on this one right now, because lately this is how I've been filling in my brows. So I'm gonna take a flat tip brush and I'm just gonna kind of wipe away the excess, and just dipping right into the powder, I'm gonna go ahead and start to fill in the brows. Now obviously if you have really thin brows, you might want a thinner one. This one just happens to fit perfectly around the shape of my eyebrows, and I just kind of dust it like this. Like I have been trying to do the whole, I don't want to say Glossier eyebrows, but kind of runway, really fluffy, not as filled in, but filled in, if you know what I'm talking about. So I've been letting my brows grow out and not letting them be so structured, because I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm just not feeling the really structured brows lately on my face. I like it more when they're feathery and messy. And the only time I do go in with the gel, which I'm going to show you right now, I'm going to go in with the gel portion of it. So I'm going to use that little brush that comes with it, and I'm going to kind of mimic a fake arch, like just enough. Like as you can see, like that barely did anything. And I'm going to go back in and fluff all of that out. Again, really fluffy brows. And then that's when I go in with the Sonia Cashew. This is the eyebrow gel in clear. Is dirty, okay? It was definitely clear. It's just for me running it through my brows so much. I'm just gonna go in a little bit and brush my brows up to give it that messy kind of feel and vibe. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe away all this coke off my face using a beauty blender again, a damp beauty blender. I don't like to wipe it away because I feel like that just makes me creasy. So when I use a beauty blender and really press it back into the skin, it like really goes in the lines and fills them in, if you know what I mean. Now going in with a shadow brush, I'm gonna pick up this brown shade right here and we're gonna start putting it underneath the eye. And if it's starting to look maybe a little bit pink or not as brown, it's because I am trash and I just haven't cleaned my makeup brushes, which is something I should probably do. But any like light brown shade will work, just so we're not all pink and not looking full-blown editorial, you know, so we have a little bit of contrast going on. We're gonna use a light brown underneath. I'm just gonna use like a fluffy brush just to kind of I don't want to say blend it, but kind of make sure that it's not all straight and it's kind of bringing down. Make sure that you don't have a lot of product on or else it's gonna like really bring it down. But because I have so much of eyeshadow on top, I want to kind of equal it out on the bottom so it doesn't look as crazy. Now before we do anything else, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with these lashes right here. This is the Lashes for Days Pro Lash in Glam Wispies. Again, I raved about these in my last video, so go check that out about why this is like all the hype on my lashes. I just wanted to show you guys the difference that these lashes make. Just they seriously blend so nicely with the lash line. So I mean, this is why we need lashes. Like here's the before and then here's the before and then here's the after. I just like using like wispy type ones when I really smoke out my, my eyeshadow. So it like really ties it in all together. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys like them side by side. Now I want to kind of bronze this look up a little bit because I seriously just love putting bronzer on my eyes. So I'm just going to use that same fluffy brush and going in with the MAC Give Me Sun Bronzer. I'm going to put that on the fluffy brush and just barely put it like right here. Like I don't want to go too up because we already have a lot of shadow there and I don't want to overdo it. But just kind of going over it a little bit. It honestly will make such a big difference, but the smallest difference. Just, I don't know. And I'm just gonna repeatedly go over it back and forth. So I don't know if you can already tell, maybe you can. It's really hard to tell on camera, but like it's starting to give it a little bit more of a warmer brown tone versus like if you can see it like right there versus right here. You know, it's just kind of bland and not a lot of warmness versus right here it has a lot of nice warm tones. So that's kind of what I'm gonna keep doing. You won't really notice a difference at first because it's honestly like the most little difference ever. But I'm gonna go in with that same brush that we used to go underneath the eye, and it was the Morphe M200, and I'm gonna literally do the same thing underneath by picking up that bronzer and just going right underneath it. And if you're too scared of going overboard and like afraid that it's just gonna, you know, like fall and stuff, use a smaller brush. But I like that it just kind of brings it down and really gives it like a nice finish to the eyes, just because again our lashes are so crazy up here, so I do want a lot going on down here as well, because I don't like it when there's a lot going on top, like a lot of stuff going on at the top but not a lot of stuff going on at the bottom. So I'm just gonna do that and repeat, and then I'm gonna go in with the L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara in the Black is Black. Obviously when you do your eyelashes, make sure to also put, you know, mascara at the top too, because that's the trick with these eyelashes with blending them in, is using the mascara. So I'm just gonna go in and apply the mascara. So I went ahead and bronzed my face and did the whole contour. I didn't really show it because it's the same exact routine that I've been doing for so long. The only difference is I added a little bit more bronzer than normal, and I used the same bronzer that I used on my eyelid. But let's go in with the highlighter. So I'm not gonna use anything really chunky or kind of glittery or kind of in your face. For this, I want to use a really subtle highlight just because I'm going to be putting on so much highlight and I want it to look dewy. And for order that to happen, I need a really sheer, nice highlight that's not really in your face, but that's buildable. So I'm going to use the MAC Soft and Gentle. And as you can see, it's kind of like bronze, but it has like a nice still like highlight shade to it, and that's kind of what I want. I want it like really bronzy and stuff. And if it does go a little bit too white, I could just pack bronzer on top of it and it'll be good. So I'm gonna be using a Morphe R35 brush with it, and I have literally been loving using this brush for highlight lately. I think it is the best in my opinion, and I'm just gonna pack that on and we're gonna put it over just like this. And I'm kind of doing circular motions, and I'm being really sloppy with this highlighter also. I'm not really what's the word, highlighting like typically how I normally would. I'm kind of just going like all over and not caring, again because I want this look to be really shimmery and dewy, and because I personally, at least for my skin, I don't know about you guys, but I can't be dunking my face in setting spray or anything like that when it comes to highlighter. I mean, I do some setting spray, but not a lot, because as soon as I use it, all of that stuff goes right into my lines. I have a really liney face, if that makes sense, meaning that it settles into every single line. So typically how people will usually do dewy tutorials and use a lot of oils or anything like that, for me, it does not work. It will set in to my lines immediately. So I have to work with highlighter, like the most natural highlighter possible, when, you know, going in with my lines or anything like that. So that's why I go like this, because if I were to use, like for example, an Anastasia highlighter and go like this, it would look like there's highlighter on my face, and I'm not about that. I just want like that nice shine. And lately I've been putting a lot on my nose, and it's okay to go overboard with this highlighter just because it doesn't show it that much. It's very like lightweight. And then what I also like to do is I like to put it on my chin, just any high points where, like if I were to sweat, where the sweat usually goes, which is just on my nose, on my chin. Okay, and as you can see, it just looks like my skin is dewy right here, but it's not. It's the highlighter, and I like to put it right here. I'm just gonna fix it, and the key is to really blend and to not make it perfect. Like almost make it look like it's all over your face, so it looks natural and dewy and not like there's highlight on your face, I guess is the best way to put it. And I'm gonna put it on the inner corner of my eyes as well, and putting some on top of the lip as well, just so it looks all dewy, like our upper lip is sweating, because that's so cute. It's exactly what we want. And yeah, that's pretty much the glow. It looks way different in person. I look really pale and washed out in person. It looks a little bit more bronzed. But now I'm gonna go back in and start highlighting the beauty marks on my face, because I just love when my beauty marks pop out. It's like my favorite feature about myself. And I'm gonna use the brow pencil, the same brow thing that I use. And I have a beauty mark right here, so I like to intensify that one, and also right here, like the Bratz doll. To finish it off, I'm gonna use the Marc Jacobs in the color Taboo just right over my lips. Again, you can put that chapstick on it, but it's been a hot minute since I've had it on, because it like fell off when I was putting on the moisturizers and everything. And we're just gonna apply it. So as you can see, like, do you see that? If you guys watch my haul, you'd know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, look, here's my natural lip color, and when I put it over, oh my god, it just like highlights. It's the perfect gloss. Like, you would think looking at this bottle that it's like a dark shade, but it's not. It just makes your lips glossy, and it's so, I think this gloss is so sexy, so cute. I don't even know. It's just really cute. I don't know how to describe things. Do you guys see what I mean? And this is it. This is the finished result. Honestly, I just have been really dunking my face into bronzer and glosses and highlighters lately, and because it's just like Valentine's Day, and every time I think Valentine's Day I think pretty, and every time I think pretty I think glossy and bronzy. So that's why I kind of made this like kind of easy sweep over the lid glossy, glittery type of, not glittery, shimmery type of makeup. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, do all of that. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!